What's up, YouTubes? Chris here, and I want to share a short story today, really just kind of a point, like a part of a sentence even. This is a whole sentence. From my first summer in Los Angeles, back 2005, for some perspective there. And it was out in 3rd Street Promenade. That's next to the Santa Monica Pier. It's like the pier with the arcade and the Ferris wheel. They use in some backdrops, a lot of films and stuff. Anyway, 3rd Street Promenade, it's basically just a one-street, pedestrian-only, outdoor shopping mall. Stores on both sides. Got some fountains, got benches. Kind of neat stuff out there. Been going on for a long time. But they also have a lot of street performers because a lot of tourists go through that area of town. And so, street performers are out there doing magic shows, and they've got some little pets doing tricks and singing songs with speakers. And one of their things in this case was breakdancers. Occasionally put on short shows, and then afterwards, they're asking for tips. I assume they're going through the city to get some sort of permit for that area for that time slot. They don't seem to fight over it or whatever over crowd, despite the huge crowd of tourists coming through. But anyway, they're asking for tips. They can't charge admission because it's in a public area. Anyone just circles around, watches what's going on. And they had this line I really, really liked, and it stuck with me. Because afterwards, I got to figure out what they're saying to try to say, hey, put money in our hat, put money in our bucket. And the strategies by these breakdancers was a saying, give us $5 so we can go to college. Even better, give us 20 so we don't have to. And what I like about this, it's not about do or don't go to college. I want to focus on that issue today. Plenty of folks I know have done it, find value in it entirely separate from career, and plenty of folks I know didn't do it, doing just fine in adult life. It's a whole separate issue. But what I like is this distinction between there's a level of success that allows me to get to what seems like the next natural rung on the ladder, and there's a level of success that allows me to not need that rung on the ladder. When I started out, I was like, hey, can I get under the umbrella of one of these other publishing groups or some other kind of thing helping me out? And I'm grateful that I've been in a situation from my self-published work. My ebooks have reached over 200,000 people. Video course, which granted I still own the rights, but it's through Udemy. 150,000, I guess 175,000 now students have gone through it, etc. Basically been at a point where I'm able to turn down people's requests for like, hey, do I want to get paid less than I'm worth to do it through them as part of their label? Right? That's, for me, was a better success than can I get a position to make courses for somebody else? Can I get a position to write books to help make a publisher money? I haven't needed to because my stuff has been able to be self-published. And in a way that so often now is something that's possible is why we can have this conversation, right? Because maybe 30 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, it didn't quite have that same possibility space. If you wanted to do video, it meant you had to impress the right folks in Hollywood to get A, your video produced, B, your video out there in front of people, C, your video sold to anybody. Now, more than ever, and granted, not to oversell this point, it's not necessarily a path for everybody or everybody's priority, but now more than ever, if you just want to write a book, get it out there on Kindle self-published, get it out there in Audible, get it or an audio format at least, sell it through Gumroad. If you want to make a video course and distribute it on multiple platforms, if you want to, whatever you're looking to do, there's more ways than ever to be able to figure out, okay, well, if your ultimate goal is not actually to impress someone else with a credential, but is in fact to do something more for yourself, that pathway may look different. Another area this comes up, right, is that there's, I don't want to convolute this because there's plenty of smart, capable, competent, good folks who are at all experience ranges, different kind of backgrounds. But quite often when people I know go and get a business degree, as a specific example, part of that hope is, can I get that job at that enormous mega company? Can I come be a part of the process at Apple, at Google, at, I don't know, General Motors, right? I'm talking business, all kinds of flexible options there. But that for some other people, what they're really looking for is that they want to be in a position to be hiring those people. For some of whom don't have that same particular business background because instead they've got a different kind of angle at business. A different kind of approach to either fundraising, to orchestrating the work, to seeing the opportunity, to connecting people to the paying things. And these are, again, more than ever in the history of humankind, and still unfortunately not accessible to everybody. I don't know if that, when or if or how that can become the case. but more than they have ever been, something which at least people can take a shot at. Putting out your own podcast, putting out your own YouTube videos, putting out your own ebooks, putting out your own games, putting out your own books, etc. is an option now in a way it didn't used to be. And so I still think of that when these people talk about, like I say, that line that still kind of echoes in my head to this day. Give us $5 so we can go to college, or $20 so we don't have to. Another nice thing about that is, again, it helps you kind of figure out, hey, am I so focused on the next assumed step in my path based on what other people do, based on other people's lives? And now, on the other hand, again, not condemning college. There's value in it, even separate from career payoff, if it's something that can work in your pathway. But it's worth saying, okay, well, to what extent have I been kind of following the steps or momentum of what other people do in their lives? And if what you want from your life is what other people want from theirs, that might make sense. If what you want from your life is different from what other people want from theirs, and you start to look seriously at, is the path that I'm on, if I just keep kind of following the next natural step that other people seem to follow, is that going to get me where I'm going? Part of what's nice about this kind of order of magnitude thinking about that 5 versus that 20, about can I get the gig somewhere else versus do I not need it, is that it can help kind of shake you up a little bit and challenge your thinking about, okay, well, it's not sufficient for me to just be satisfied doing the things other people assign to me. It's not enough, and this is not to say to overwork yourself, to abuse self-care. It's never my message. But it is about, is there some sort of tweak, some sort of strategy, or is there some sort of, do I need to zoom out and rethink how my energy is being spent? Because maybe you're even exhausting yourself doing stuff that's not going to get you where you want to get. That isn't actually the next natural step of progression if you just keep doing what you've been doing. And now that can be eye-opening. That can be a healthy thing. That's not a negative thing, to look at the path that you're on and ask yourself, is that going to get you where you want to get? When you start to zoom out past the next natural step to asking, what is it you're really after? What is it you really want? What's important to you? It gets us thinking about our values, gets us thinking about our priorities, gets us thinking about our aims in a way that makes some people uncomfortable. But I will say that it is a discomfort which is better faced in advance, so you can plan around it, than not. It's actually the same thing I saw the other day. I don't want to be specific about who it was. It's overseas. It's different events than we have over here. But this guy had mentioned he wants to congratulate his friends who'd made it out to this conference, this professional industry event. And he's happy for them. But he also kind of identified he's at a point in his career, a point in his professional development, that he doesn't have to be there, and that he's even happier about that. That again, there's sort of these things, right, where it can seem aspirational to, I want to be a speaker at this event. I want to get that recognition from this event. And then there's a point of success at which you don't need that. You don't need that attention. You're able to turn that down even if it comes up as just being, doesn't seem like what you feel like doing. And that you're not in a position of needing to prove yourself in the same way to the same people, to the same kind of credentials, or the same sort of pipelines, the same sort of traditions. And again, there's nothing wrong with people who choose to do that. There's plenty of successful folks in the world by any metric who have had very happy lives as entrepreneurs in giant organizations who recognize an opportunity to transform and assist a huge company with enormous reach that needed the help. They found a way to get in there, connect the right people, fix the right stuff. All I want to emphasize today is that that's not necessarily what everybody's looking for. It may or may not be what you're looking for. And that as soon as you identify that what you're looking for is different than the path that you may be on, right, in terms of where your priorities want to be. The thing about these breakdancers, right, is that they would really, clearly, from how they kind of, and granted it's a joke of sorts, they'd love to make it as dancers. That was what was important to them. They loved doing it. They had fun doing it. They'd like to keep doing that. If they could earn money doing that, that's cool. If they could keep earning money doing that, make that their whole life, there's plenty of folks out there, one way or another, find a way to make it work in terms of as a profession, or potentially could be. So anyway, that's the thought I wanted to share today. Just that one little line that echoed with me. $5 so we can go to college, $20 so we don't have to. And again, not to seem anti-education, I'm not like that. But that interesting lens it gives us, just that one little phrase. And that's all I want to chat about today. Thanks for tuning in. Have an overview with you all soon.